Tencent is one of the biggest companies in the world. They are the biggest gaming company in the biggest gaming market, and they are one of the biggest investors in China, and created and owns WeChat. In this video, we will look at how a tech-savvy Pony Ma created Tencent and moved it from a copycat to an innovator. People would describe Pony Ma as a calm, introvert guy. His family had inputs on the mighty Communist Party. At the end of the 90s, Pony worked together with his friends in the booming telecom industry. According to sources, Pony made as much as $170 a month, a very high salary for a 25-year-old at that time. Even though he had a secure job with a good pay, he and his companions decided to start Tencent, a new company which would combine the technology behind pagers and internet. It was also during this time that millions of people around the globe started using the chat app ICQ. Pony Ma had seen ICQ and knew he had to take it to China and Asia. They launched their app in 1999 and called it OICQ. Shortly after, they would have to change the name to QQ after AOL, who created ICQ, sent them a cease and desist. There was a lot of people in China who tried to ride the new internet wave, but Pony and Tencent had two major advantages. First, they lived in Shenzhen, a city where internet had been established early on. Secondly, Pony Ma used his government influence to make the city pre-install QQ on all of the computers on the city's internet cafes. Since this was the most common way for users to use the internet, their user base just shot through the roof, and they had over 200 registered users after 2 months. A year after, the dot-com bubble popped, and Tencent ran out of money. Even though they grew substantially in users, they kept seeing negative numbers. In an effort to stay afloat, Pony and his companions cut their salaries in half. But again, Tencent would be saved by their city. During 2000, Shenzhen ran their first high-tech fair, where Tencent would be able to show off their QQ and effort for multiple investors. They were able to land a $2 million investment, which would save Tencent from going bankrupt. In 2002, they started with QQ coins, an internal currency that let Tencent experiment with monetization of their user base. Now a user were able to upgrade their QQ account and start sending virtual gifts to each other, like virtual roses, for just a few cents. Through this, Tencent learned exactly what would trigger a transaction from their user base. In 2004, Tencent did an IPO. The company, who have now survived the IT crash, had now become a unicorn and was valued at $1 billion. And if you were able to buy shares in 2004, you made a fairly good deal, since the shares have increased with over 50,000%. In 2005, Tencent made some big investments to grow their ecosystem. They launched a music service, email, and news portals. With their knowledge in microtransactions and how to make money from their user base, it didn't take long until their new services was as profitable as they were popular. In 2009, they had reached over 600 million active users. They continued to build upon QQ and added new services. They were now active in messaging, gaming, social networking, and so forth. In 2010, they completely crushes Microsoft's attempt to launch MSN China. The head of Microsoft in China even jumped ships and started working for Tencent. This new consultation started working with a new messaging service that would be more custom to smartphones. They let their QQ team compete against a new assembled team to make the best user-friendly app. The QQ team would see themselves defeated, and the new app is called WeChat. WeChat, at its start, is a complete copy of WhatsApp and is launched in 2011. WeChat became an instant hit. One of the reasons that WeChat grew so fast was a feature called Find Nearby Users. It was like an early Tinder where you could start chatting with random people that were nearby. This made people stay longer inside the app and was one of the key functions that made it so popular early on. 14 months after the launch, they had over 100 million registered users. They would continue to develop WeChat and add new features. They added voice and video chat and public profile for brands and celebrities. 6 months after reaching 100 million users, they hit 200 million with 190 million monthly active. In 2013, they added mobile payment in WeChat. This would be the start of a big success for Tencent. With WeChat Wallet, you could add your credit or debit card and start paying for online services. In the beginning, it was limited, but with time, they have added the possibility to pay for taxis, coffee, meals, and so on. In 2014, Tencent bought a stake in JD and was able to add it to WeChat as well. So now you can shop for goods inside the app as well, and it wouldn't take long until they launched WeChat stores. WeChat totally took over the life of people in China. Today they use it for everything. Instead of using multiple apps, they use WeChat. You use it to book a cab for work, you chat with your colleagues, and instead of emailing your customers, you talk using WeChat. When you go out to eat, you will pay with WeChat or order in through WeChat. When talking with friends, playing games, or buying goods, you use WeChat. Tencent have built an ecosystem that controls all of the mobile market. In a sense, you can look at WeChat as an operating system like Android or iOS. Today, Tencent is valued at almost $500 billion. They are one of the world's largest companies. WeChat have over 1 billion registered users. They continue to build upon QQ and WeChat with adding new services. They have invested quite a lot of money in different companies and have a majority stake in Riot Games, the creator behind League of Legends. They have invested in Kick, Lyft, Spotify, Snapchat, and a lot more. Tencent have started to look to the West and are slowly moving its business to take over more than Asia. They are fighting against the likes of Google and Facebook, and no one can tell how the future will look like or who will win. Tencent is brutal in its way of tackling competition, so it might be an interesting few years to come. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please hit that like button. If you want to see more of the same content, hit that subscribe button. I will have more of the same content up soon.